Hi everyone, it's Nicole here for Simon Says Stamp with a Sending Hugs Sloth Scene card. This adorable little lovable sloth face was part of the limited edition Valentine's kit, and I hadn't got a chance to use it yet, and I thought I would use it for a different kind of occasion card. This is just an any time occasion card for a Sending Hugs. And I love being able to use products that maybe came for a certain occasion, but it definitely doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. And he works so great with other picture book type of products. I'm going to do a little inlay frame design to frame him up, and I'm starting by using the Clouds for Days stencil and Peacock Feathers Distress ink to create my background. This is on some regular Nina Smooth White cardstock, and I'm just creating these great little clouds. We're going to actually die cut this, so I'm not too worried about getting it all the way down to the bottom. And I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Mod Leaf Oval Frame. This has been out for a little while now. I'm not exactly sure how long, and I have not had a chance to use it yet. Now, I will tell you that I accidentally die cut this the wrong way and I had to redo it, but I'm not going to share the redoing. The reason is the two little leaves there, I think are going to look better at the top and the one at the bottom. So I'm actually going to have to redo that and re-die cut it. I just wanted to tell you that really quick, because you're probably going to notice as I put this together that I have one leaf at the bottom, and that makes a difference with the inlay since I'm not die cutting an oval to put behind this. That is another option. If you have an oval shape that you could put behind this, you would not have to do an inlay if you don't want to. I'm going to keep the frame white for my card today, but I want my leaves to have some color, and I'm just going to use some Copic markers to add some shading and things. I'm using YG 21, 23, and 17. This is a really quick card. Yes, I've sped up the video, and it's definitely not as long as some, and it did take longer than the amount of time that you're watching it here. But this went together super fast. This is one of those designs that was not a super time-consuming type of project. I love adding a little bit of color to die cuts, and it works so great. Okay, so I'm going to show you again. I did not share the stenciling, but I'm going to re-die cut this, and I showed you so I keep those two leaves up at the top. I wish I would have tested my dies before I did it, but I think it's important to leave these things in the video so you guys can see in real time and how they come about, and that there are mistakes that are made along the way, little missteps maybe sometimes because you don't always see everything right off the bat. My inclination is to put those two leaves down at the bottom, but it covers up so much of the sloth, and I really didn't like how it laid quite as well, because the one leaf that kind of goes over to the left would have been more in front of his face and bow tie and things like that, and so I switched it around because I still really love this. I can't tell you, probably what took the most time with this project was going through my dies, looking for the perfect frame that had some leaves in it. I wanted something that had leaves to work with my sloth. I really felt like that I needed that from this project. I wanted those little sprigs of green, and I had to look and look to find the perfect thing. I mean, I have several different products, but nothing that was just saying it was the perfect thing for this card. And I love the size of this. It actually was absolutely fantastic for the size of this picture book critter. So here's our frame. I am going to do an inlay, but I'm going to layer another frame underneath, or for the inlay part, I guess, which is the stenciled part. That is going to be inlaid with a regular frame, and then I'm going to layer another frame, the one with the colored leaves on top. That's just going to give it a little more dimension. Now what I'm going to do here is I didn't love the solid cardstock behind. This is the other part of the project that gave me the most trouble, which is funny because it's a very simple thing. But I often find that picking the right paper, the right cardstock can give me the biggest, issue when putting together a card. And I didn't love the solid cardstock. It's a really simple card design. There's not a ton going on. And I felt like it needed some texture, but I didn't want multiple colors. I mean, I tried some pattern papers and different things behind it, and it just wasn't working. When that happens, my favorite thing, my go-to, is tone-on-tone type of texture. And my other favorite, the diagonal stripes from Simon Says Stamp. I've had this background forever. You guys probably have one or have something similar. It is my go-to for creating awesome, awesome backgrounds. So I stamped it with the diagonal stripe background with AUDREY blue ink. And now I am ready to put this together. For the sloth's body, this is something else that I really could not figure out what to do with. And I had originally tried to use one of the Big Picture Book little body, and it was too big. It's too big for this sloth's face, and there isn't really a small individual body for the sloth. So I went through, and I believe there were two, I think maybe the ape, the Picture Book ape and the Picture Book hippo, both had bodies that die cut away from the face, and I thought either one of those would work well. I ended up using the hippo, and I had to trim it down a little bit to fit within that oval shape so that the sides didn't stick out. But it ended up being perfect and perfectly sized. Plus it has the two-tone body, which worked really nice. So don't be afraid to mix and match your picture book dies, because you can probably come up with even more options. This worked really, really well. I am doing a little inlay. Now I actually layered up the nose and the eyes, so they're going to stick up higher. Those aren't inlay, but everything else pretty much is. And I'm going to have him down at the bottom. You can see that one little green leaf is slightly overlapping him, which is super cute. We're going to layer our little sentiment down here below. And then we've got that cloudy background and some more leaves up at the top of the frame. I'm going to use Glossy Accents on the eyes and the nose. I am getting those on there as soon as possible so they can dry. I'm going to put highlights on top of these when the Glossy Accents is all the way dry. I even added some to the bow tie to help it stand out just a little bit more. I had contemplated layering like 2 layers of that die cut bow tie, and I didn't. I still kind of wish I would have. I think that it would have made it just a little bit more prominent. Layers are always a great option when you want to make something stand out a little bit more. Then I put glue on the back of the frame and I layered it over the top. And look at how cute that is. How fun is that adorable little lovable sloth? So, so sweet. Love him. I'm going to take a scrap of black cardstock now. I'm stamping the Sending Hugs sentiment on this from the Tiny Words stamp set. I'm going to heat emboss this with white embossing powder. I love these little sentiments. They're perfect for adding a little something to a card if you don't want to add a super huge sentiment. And then there are these nested banners from Simon Says Stamp that I think are absolutely phenomenal. I love these. And they are going to make die cutting your phrases, whether it's a bigger phrase or a smaller one, perfect. And it's going to give you an adorable banner. There's lots and lots of options. I am using my favorite little notched banner. You can see it there on my work table. I've also buffed off the powder that I use to make sure my embossing powder hopefully only sticks to what I've stamped with the clear embossing ink. And then I die cut that banner, and we're going to layer that. Here's that nested die set I love, the nested banners. And I'm going to layer that along the bottom edge of the scene. Now there's a lot going on along the bottom edge of that mod leaf oval frame. We've got the sloth, a leaf, and our sentiment. Now at the top we have the leaves. It definitely would be just fine the way it is, but I wanted to pull in a little bit more red and add just a little something to the top part of my little scene here. And we're going to do that with my favorite mini hearts from Simon Says Stamp. These are from one of the very first exclusive releases from Simon Says Stamp. I've had them forever. They are my favorite hearts. You get 3 per style. So you actually get 9 different hearts in this. And I picked the ones that kind of match the shape of the heart in the middle of his bow tie. And I'm going to put all 3 of them here. I'm going to finish them with a layer of Glossy Accents as well. When that's dry, we can add some great little highlights to those hearts as well. But they round out the design. They add a little touch of color on the top half of the card, a little bit of interest. Absolutely love that. I do use a fine tip applicator on my Glossy Accents. This is the Scrap Perfect applicator, and it is linked below here in the supply list below the video. It makes adding Glossy Accents to a small area much, much easier. So here is a look at the finished card. I added some little white dots to the cheeks, the eyes, the nose, and the hearts. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Lovable Sloth Sending Hugs card featuring Simon Says Stamps and Dies. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Simon Says Stamps and Dies you might be interested in. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.